to the module Sociology of Education 2601. I'm your lecturer, Mrs. Mokoena. By the end of this learning unit, you should be able to explain how children are deprived. You should be able to distinguish between different forms of deprivation and explain the grade R teacher's role in supporting deprived children. So what is deprivation? It refers to the deficiency or a denial of factors necessary for the adequate development of the young child. There are many factors that contribute to deprivation. Emotional deprivation, cultural deprivation, material deprivation, school factors that lead to deprivation, and neighborhood factors that lead to deprivation. These are all factors that contribute to deprivation. Let's look at emotional deprivation. The child who is not supported and loved by their family will experience feelings of neglect and being unloved. This often happens in homes where parents do not have or make the time to communicate and to show their children that they genuinely love and care for them. When this happens, the child experiences emotional deprivation. And children who are emotionally deprived usually come from homes where there is an abuse of alcohol and/or drugs. In some instances, emotionally deprived children come from homes where there is constant bickering between the parents and other family members. This creates a sense of insecurity for the child. And there's also cultural deprivation. What is cultural deprivation? Well, this refers to the lack of cultural experiences, resources, and opportunities that are considered essential for a child's development and success within a particular society. Cultural deprivation can affect various aspects of a child's life, including language development, academic achievement, social skills, and overall cognitive growth. Grade R teachers should not ignore the richness of diverse cultures as it provides children with its rich experiences for learning opportunities and development. What does this mean? It means that as a teacher, you need not ignore the richness of diverse cultures. You should, in your class, create a multicultural classroom which celebrates differences in different cultures, as this can help develop children's language, academic achievement, and social skills. So there's also material deprivation. Material deprivation relates to being deprived through poverty. In many cases, children come from homes where either one or both parents are unemployed, and this results in the family experiencing financial challenges to meet the demands of adequate living costs. And how do you recognize this? You can recognize this by the kind of clothes the child puts on, and sometimes the children from material deprivation background withdrawn and don't participate in play activities with other children. School factors that contribute to deprivation. Very often, some children are not accepted in schools by other children. So some children may experience bullying in the school environment, and they therefore feel isolated and neglected and do not want to attend school. These children often display problematic behavior and are sometimes withdrawn. And lastly, we've got neighborhood deprivation. Many neighborhoods influence the deprivation of young children which can influence their overall development and learning. Some children may live in neighborhoods that consist of neglected buildings where there is overcrowding. There are also a large number of dysfunctional families, with most being fatherless. In neighborhood deprivation, you see that there is insufficient playing areas for children, and there is little or no stimulation for children. There are high levels of child neglect, poor school attendance, and juvenile delinquency. There are also inadequate social services and inconvenient transport services to main areas. As a teacher, you have a big role to play to support deprived children. You should create a positive and accommodating classroom and ensure that children experience a sense of belonging. Children must feel comfortable and happy and a sense of belonging in your classroom. You also need to ensure that there is a low stress and emotionally supportive environment in your classroom. Be very supportive of the children and give them the emotional support that they need. Plan and assess the physical layout of the grade R class, both indoors and outdoors. There should be quiet areas where children can reflect and rest. Develop close relationships with families and get to know their cultural backgrounds. Engage families in the life of the school. Refrain from using materials, themes, or routines that create stereotypes. Reflect on your own values and beliefs and do not allow these to dominate your influence over the children. Ensure that children receive ample opportunities for fantasy and socio-dramatic play to ensure that they can act out of their fears and stresses. Ensure that children receive ample opportunities for fantasy play to ensure that they can act out their fears and stresses. Avoid comparing children and treat each child individually. Do not label children and avoid favoring some children over others. This is how you can support deprived children. In conclusion, we dealt with the emotional, cultural, material, school, and neighborhood deprivation of the young child. We concluded with the role of the grade R teacher in supporting young children who are deprived. We have reached the end of this lesson on Learning Unit 6. And once again, thank you.